All right, let's review this anime. Devilman Crybaby is a Netflix original anime series that is directed by Masaki Yuasa, who directed, I believe, My Hero Academia, another anime which I haven't seen, but it's very popular and highly recommended. So he is directing this adaptation of this another manga, which was Devilman, which came out in 1979, which was done by Go Nagi. Nevertheless, this is an adaptation of that source material, which came out over 40 years ago, and here we are with a new adaptation. It's grittier, it's 10 episodes, it's on Netflix, no holds bar, and wow, this was a very interesting series to watch. The premise of the show is that there's this kid named Akira who grows up kind of estranged from his parents and lives with friends of his family. And eventually he's in high school and he's on the track team, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, his mysterious friend from his childhood, Rio, all of a sudden comes back into his life out of nowhere and tells him that demons and devils do exist, and it's up to them to expose their existence. Nevertheless, through a series of events which I will not spoil, Akira himself ends up becoming a demon. A man with the body of a demon or a devil and the heart of a man. A devil man. So right out of the gate, I didn't know anything going into this series about what it was about or anything like that. I just heard there was a lot of internet outcry and outrage about just how, messed up this show was. They weren't lying. They weren't lying. This show is pretty graphic in every single sense of the word. I mean, detailed, gory, graphic violence. I mean, some of the most explicit violence that's out there, as well as sex. I mean, it's borderline pornography at certain scenes with just how vile and gratuitous everything is in this show. Everything about it is just pure debauchery when you first start out, and that's going to be a big turn away for a lot of people for this show and people who don't know anything about the source material, and it's understandable because when you're dealing with something like this, no one wants to sit there for 3.5 hours or however long it takes you to watch the show, and things just keep getting worse and things keep getting more graphic and tragic, and you didn't know you were getting yourself into that. And that's not really appealing to most people, but I can say though, it almost feels like all this graphic material that's in the show is actually like a deterrent to kind of weed out the people who can't stomach what's actually going to happen in the show, because all the events in the beginning, all this fan servicey type sexual stuff and all the graphic violence and stuff like that, it has a purpose, and it's actually to prove a point towards the end of the show about statements that they're making about humanity and things of that nature. There's a lot here to unpack about what all of this means and what all of this symbolism stands for inside of these sequences and things of that nature. All of this serves a purpose for what I consider a very satisfying ending. And that's kind of the trump card with this show, or the thing they don't really show their hand with, is that this is very rewarding for your investment, I truly believe. I know a lot of people aren't going to feel that way, especially if you just cannot stomach getting through the beginning of the show and all the things that it throws at you in your face. If you can't get through that, this show is not for you. But I truly think Devilman Crybaby was a worthy investment of my time. Like, ever since I finished the ending of that show, I've just been lying in bed and I'm just like, I can't stop thinking about that ending. Like, it was crazy. It was absolutely incredible. And I just think that this show is truly something special once you get past all the things that's in there. The art style, when it's not being gratuitously violent or things of that nature, it goes from like psychedelic Jack Kirby influences to like some Akira style animation. It's absolutely incredible, the animation at times. Sometimes the animation looks really lazy, really lacks textures, or even literally faces or facial expressions. There will literally be no faces on the characters and it's just a wide shot or something like that, or some animation sequences where it's obviously looking like they were cutting corners to either hold back on because they didn't have enough time, or they knew the sequence wasn't didn't matter the most in the long run, so they didn't put as much effort into the animation for it. So it really stinks at certain parts, but when they do go full hardcore, letting things loose with their animation team and letting their imaginations run wild. You see some of the most disturbing imagery you will ever see in your life, but at the same time, some of the most gorgeous animation I've personally ever seen. I think it looks absolutely fantastic at certain points, and I think they did a really, really great job on the animation team. At the parts you can tell when they really try, and other times they're just like, we're just trying to get through these story beats so we can get to the more exciting things, and who knows what time constraints or whatever they had on them. But nevertheless, animation was great. I listened to the dub version, and I thought that was fantastic. I thought the voices worked really, really well. I think the voice actors and actresses all did a great job. All did fantastic at conveying the tragedy of the story and all the things that the characters went through. I think the voice acting went really well, and so was the writing in the story and the characters. Everything was very well developed. Everything about where the plot ends up going, I think, is fantastic. There's great escalation all throughout this show, and the things keep ramping up, and the stakes get higher and higher, and I loved it. I absolutely loved where this show went. I think the character of Akira is great, and his change that he goes through once he is, possessed by this devil is really incredible. And Ryo is very interesting, and so is Miki, and the entire family aspect that he has to deal with for everyone involved, I think is really incredible. And so are the supporting cast, who I think at certain points really steal the show from the lead characters. There's a group of rappers in this show who are absolutely fantastic, and you think they're going to be the typical hoodlums who get in the way of the hero from being able to accomplish his goals or stuff like that, or just be an annoying high school hindrance, but they're not, and they really do become very, very well developed characters as the plot progresses, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So with that being said, I love the art style, I love the story and where things went. The designs for the devils and the demons were absolutely fantastic and disturbing and haunting all at the same time. And when it all came down to it, this was just a great story and great writing and great source material from Gonagi in the original Devilman manga, and you can just really tell that this manga was so influential in so many other properties that ended up coming about, whether it was Berserk or EVA and things of that nature. You maybe even look at Game of Thrones or something like that and just see what influences this source material had on pop culture was absolutely incredible. And it being able to tell a dark, gritty, extremely explicit story, but with purpose. Always having a purpose behind all the debauchery and graphic content, I think is what really lets the show shine in that regard. So with that being said, the only gripes I really have with the show is that in some points the animations don't look a little wonky. They look a little wonky. Besides that, there's that, and the plot towards the end gets really, really rushed. There are some big leaps of concepts and time and stuff like that, and they play with the way the story progresses, and things go extremely quickly. I mean, one scene might take place in this amount of time, and then it's a large expansion and how much time is rapidly passing and things of that nature. Not to get into any spoilers or anything like that, but it's just the show was moving way too fast towards the end. And then, the source material was very short, and it's they didn't stray too far away from that, from what it seems like, from what I've read about the source material, and it seems like they wanted to stick true to it and not add or embellish way too much. But I really do feel like the ending of the show could have used a few more episodes to flesh out the scenarios that the characters found themselves in. Not in the sense of like, let's expand it like it was like this is like One Piece or something like that. We need 500,000 episodes. No, I am not saying that. I'm just saying like this show was like 10 episodes. It could have used like 12 episodes max. That's all we needed to flesh out that latter half of the entire show. But with that being said, I think this show is absolutely incredible. The story is so powerful and impactful and emotional, and I haven't talked too much about the story because I don't want to give anything away about it. I'll be talking about it more in my spoiler review of it, but the show is absolutely worth the investment if you can stomach the content that's in it, and that's the big caveat to it. This show is graphic. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna pretend like there aren't people who are gonna be offended or triggered watching this show, and it makes perfect sense because this show is unapologetic in its presentation, and if you can get past that, I think it's a worthy investment, and it's a thought-provoking piece. It's an emotional piece. It's an entertaining one, and I think it has a lot to say about the way we view the world and humanity itself. So with that being said, Devilman Crybaby is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. A great way to start out 2018. And with that being said, I'm giving Devilman Crybaby a 9.5 out of 10. I think this show is absolutely fantastic. I think it was a really, really great series. I'm looking forward to checking out more work from the creators of this show, checking out My Hero Academia, which I have not gotten into just yet. I still have a lot of other shows to catch up on and things of that nature. But either way, this was really, really, really worth the time and worth the investment. So that being said, guys, let me know what you think about Devilman Crybaby in the comment sections down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Could you not get through it? Let me know in the comment sections down below. And also, while you're down there, guys, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to go down there and hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to become a part of the Geek Nation. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Daniel Hargrove. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to get geeky.